Hello, Miami. This is 305 Sports Down, your home podcast and channel for all things Miami sports related. I am Will, and unfortunately, I have talked about some bad news. As you know, it's no secret the Miami Heat and the Florida Panthers have mirrored, their seasons altogether, being A-seeded teams, making it to the finals, and now both find themselves in a 3-1 hole against their respective opponents. But I'm going to break down the Miami Heat today. I'll figure out a way how I could add the Florida Panthers probably sometime this week. But it's unfortunate because the Miami Heat, uh, were so competitive and so um, tough and gritty, throughout these whole entire playoffs that it's going to be very hard, to admit that this is pretty much the end of the road for the Miami Heat. Even if they do capture um a victory in Denver on Monday night, I just don't see them, going 7 with this team. And if they do go 7, I don't see them beating this Denver team. This Denver team, has played very well, especially the offensive side of the ball, especially in rebounding and in terms of assist and distribution. That um the talent level has really been seen. Where Miami has been able to play above, its competition. In the case of Denver, it's been really difficult as Denver seems to be poised and destined to win the NBA championship this season. Let's go over games 3 and 4 just a little bit, then I'll break down what I think about the Miami Heat, as time progresses. In game 3, it was 109-94. Jimmy Butler gave us 28 points and 4 assists, a very quiet 28 points. Bam Adebayo, 22 points and 17 rebounds, a very nice double-double for Bam. I'll get into whether they got Bam, as far as this playoff series has gone. But of course, you had the dynamic duo of Jamal Murray and Nikola Jovic with 34 and 32 points alike. Then we have game 4, and we have the Miami Heat falling 108-95, in which Butler gave us 25 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists. And Bam gave us 20 points and 11 rebounds. Kevin Love had the best game amongst the role players with 12 points, going 3 for 5 from downtown. But then, of course, Jokic had, almost falling out in game 4. Jokic had 23 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists, and Aaron Gordon had the best game of his playoff career with 27 points, to help out that evening. Okay, so what do I think has been going on? Well, first things foremost, one of the things that I did say is that if the Miami Heat were to beat the Denver Nuggets, they had to go back to the way they played offensively against the Milwaukee Bucks, because to me, that's the team that mirrored Denver the most in terms of having size. Okay, you got Brook Lopez, you got Giannis is not a very tiny person either. You have Bobby Portis. Those are guys that are big guys, right, as well. And the Heat were just phenomenal, on both sides of the ball, in that series. Even with Giannis in the game, they were able to neutralize Giannis' ability, to pass the ball to score in the paint, as well. And Miami just shot the lights out, right? Miami shot, well for every single game, including even that game 2 loss over Milwaukee when Giannis didn't play. Miami shot very well, so Miami would have to mirror, the what they had in Milwaukee, if they wanted to beat Denver, because it was going to be a firefight, okay? Because Denver is a highly explosive team offensively, and that hasn't been the case. And I'm going to be very honest with you. Some of the pundits locally, nationally, have said that the Denver defense. I'll be honest with you. I don't see the Denver defense as strong as some of the defenses the Miami Heat played in their playoff run. The only thing I will say is just Miami is just not hitting their shots, right? Miami shot very poorly games 1, 3, and 5, especially from 3-point land, to say the least. And the best game that they shot well from the 3-point line, which I think they shot 50% or close to it, was game 2, a game in which they won. Okay, so that's the thing. If Miami is able to hit their 3-point shots against Denver, they will be victorious, but they haven't been able to do so, as Miami has struggled from beyond the arc. And one of the things that also made the Miami Heat very successful in their playoff run is the quote unquote undrafted guys really balling out, right? Guys like, like Max Strus, Gabe Vincent, Caleb Martin. We can't forget Caleb Martin as well. And of course, Duncan Robinson as well, all balling out. Some of the 2 best guys, some of the 2 most consistent role players throughout this whole playoff series that have struggled, especially in games 3 and 4, have been Max Strus and Gabe Vincent. Gabe Vincent has been getting into early foul trouble, and I guess you could say a little bit of star treatment, as in many cases, Gabe Vincent has been unfairly called for fouls throughout the series, especially in a couple of occasions. That we can go over in game two and even in game four, games 2 and 3 and 4 as well. But they basically Max Strus and Gabe Vincent combined for 12 points in games 3 and 4. That's not going to fly. Okay, that is just not acceptable. They have to step up because I feel in some cases the way Jimmy Butler has been a bit more passive in this series comparable to the series against the Bucks, the Knicks, and even the Celtics. I do think that the ankle that he may have rolled against Boston might be slightly bothering him. That's allegedly. He's working through it. And again, 28 points, and 25 points aren't as bad, but we haven't seen aggressive Jimmy, like we saw in previous series within this playoff run. But that's here nor there. Okay. Jokic, has picked Miami apart. Okay, and he's also very dangerous down low. He is getting the benefits of calls, right, from the officials as well as Jamal Murray. It goes with the territory as well. I do think in many cases the refereeing needed to show a bit more common sense, all right, as far as in terms of calling fouls than being so stringent or giving the Stars some favor. Okay, that's something I did notice, throughout the series as well. So that's just a little bit what I want to go over. It is very disappointing to see a 3-1 deficit. I seriously thought we'd be tied 2-2, going back to Denver based upon Miami's resiliency. But Michael Malone did have his guys ready to not falter in the fourth quarter as well. I got to give a little bit of credit to two guys, Duncan Robinson and Bam Adebayo. I first want to talk about Duncan because when Duncan's been in the game offensively, he has been a spark. Okay, he has hit threes. He's been cutting well, and he's been able to, to get points to the paint, not just be a one-trick pony shooting threes. Okay, so I gotta give Duncan credit where credit is due. He has improved his game, to make himself more valuable to the Miami Heat. And a lot of times, let's be honest, when the Heat goes zone, he's in the game. All right, and because he's not the best on-ball defender, not the best in man-to-man, so having him in zone kind of hides his defensive liabilities a bit. As well. And of course, I want to give a little more credit to Bam Adebayo. Bam Adebayo, who's often criticized, including by myself, as far as not being aggressive enough against teams, being a little passive on offense. I can be very frank with you. I don't think at all Bam respects the defense of Jokic as he's taking him off the dribble. Not that Jokic isn't a great player. Obviously, he's an MVP, but I do believe that he's not he's a little more slow-footed on defense than some of the other guys that have been taking the task of covering Bam Adebayo. And Bam has used his quickness off the dribble and his athleticism to pretty much score, on Jokic on many, many occasions. Okay, so I got to give credit to Bam. Bam has been the one bright spot and consistent spot for the Miami Heat throughout the NBA Finals. Okay, it has been Bam. I want to see more of that as the season next season and as he progresses in his career. Okay, I do think that he is capable of at least giving you 20, 25 plus points a game. Okay, he's that athletic. All right, I'm just trying to say that he's just also that gifted. Sometimes I don't think he should just go for the jump shot. I do think on some occasions he should drive in, but that's just me. Okay, that's all I'm saying. That occasion. As far as next season goes, I will be bringing in Alejandro Solana after the finals are done. I'll have a date for you guys on that, and I will be having a panel of people that are podcasters and professional, and one professional athlete, Giovanni Gonzalez, will be joining us, as well. That we'll be breaking down the Miami Heat and exactly what's going to be going on. What we thought of the series, what we thought about the season, and what next. And I do think that there has to be some major changes, as far as the roster goes, for next season. One thing I will say, I do believe because of this playoff run and what happened last season, some of the role players that were undrafted. I mean, I'm doing this because they don't play like they're undrafted. Okay, they play basically above their talent level, as perceived by scouts and analysts and so on. I do think that they've become more attractive in terms of trades. So if you want to get someone like a Damian Lillard, a Bradley Beal type of player to come over to the Miami Heat, I do think that guys like Max Strus, Caleb Martin, Tyler Hero, I know he's drafted, but I'm giving you some ideas. Tyler Hero have all earned themselves some value. So you could get somebody to come over that can help your team out, and send in some pieces, as well. Okay. The reason why I say this is because Miami I mean, the one thing about role players, okay, there's a reason why they're not stars, is because they're not always consistent and they do have some deficiencies in several aspects of their game. All right. It could be that they're just not good defenders. It could be that they're not very offensive, but they're defensive. They're okay on both sides of the ball, but they're not great. All right. There's a lot of things about role players that are said. And I do think that asking a guy like Gabe Vincent or expecting a guy like Gabe Vincent or Max Strus to put up 25 points a night is saying a lot. Okay, it's asking a lot, and they've been consistent. Okay, depending on the series, they've been really good. Caleb Martin was flat out lights out against Boston. Okay, so let's give him credit. But Miami needs a guy that puts up 25 to 30 points a game on a consistent basis that starts. Jimmy needs help. All right, and Bam's 20, 25. That's even though I think it should be more part of his game. It's not part of his game. Miami needs a Chris Middleton type, a Jalen Brunson type, a Bradley Beal type, a Damian Lillard type. Okay, that's what the Heat need. Miami needs a guy that when Jimmy Butler is struggling because they're double teaming him or the shots aren't going down, a guy's gonna say, "I got this," and put up 25 points. Look, Jamal Murray, right? Jamal Murray in Game 1 wasn't the best, but Jokic was a beast. Okay, so that's what you kind of need. Someone to complement, the star player. All right, and vice versa. Okay, all right, everybody. That's all for me for tonight. Have yourselves a blessed night. If you like what you heard, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to 305 Sports Now. Once again, I am Will. Stay safe. God bless. See you soon, and go Heat. All right, let's push as far as we can. All right, let's push as far as we can. Let's make history. Let's try to do it. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.